Hi, 4th and 5th grade. This is me, Mr. Walters, coming to you from the art room. We're going to go ahead and jump right into our first presentation. I wanted to present it to you, and most of the presentations that you will be seeing will be coming to you just like this. So we're going to get started. Your first project is going to be on the elements of art, and the first topic we're going to talk about is color. So the elements of art are the building blocks of art, and so the elements of art are the building blocks that we use to create pieces of artwork. They are color, value, line, shape, form, texture, and space. So those are all the elements of arts. So color is the element produced by light reflecting off of objects. So my shirt, you can see, is kind of like a light pinkish color. So that color pink is reflecting off of the shirt, making it that color. There are three properties of colors. So three properties are hue, value, and intensity. Hue is the name of the color, so like blue, yellow, red, etc. And value is lightness or darkness of a color, okay? So just remember, value, when we talk about that, it means light or dark of a certain color. Intensity is how bright or how dull the color is. So if you look at an example right here, so this would be how our value, so from dark to light, and intensity would be how bright or how dull the color is. So the color wheel is a tool artists use to help them identify the relationships between different colors. Here is an example of the color wheel. We're going to be making one just like this today. The color wheel is organized with primary colors in the middle, red, yellow, blue. So these are your primary colors in the middle. The secondary colors are then orange, green, purple, or violet, orange, green, violet. Then there are finally your tertiary or intermediate colors. So red, orange, red, violet, blue, green, and yellow, orange. And we'll talk about all of those here in a second. So the three primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. These three colors cannot be mixed together, or these three colors can be mixed together to make secondary colors, but you cannot mix any colors together to get these colors. So I can't mix any colors to get red, I can't mix any colors to get yellow, and I can't mix any colors to get blue. So, but if I mix two primary colors together, I can get a secondary color. So if I mix red and yellow, so I put my red and my yellow in and I mix it all up, I get orange. That's my first secondary color. Next, I want to mix red and blue together. I get purple. Next, I'm going to mix blue and yellow together. So in goes blue, in goes yellow. I shake it up, and I get green. So those are the three secondary colors: orange, violet, and green. So if we look at a gradient scale, you can see from red going to yellow, you have orange, blue going to red, we have purple, yellow going to blue, in the middle we have green. So those are our secondary colors. So now that we've filled in our primary colors, red, yellow, blue, and our secondary colors, orange, violet, and green, we still have some blank spots missing. Those are called intermediate or tertiary colors. I'm going to move myself out of the way so you can see the definition. Those colors are the colors that are created when mixing a primary and a secondary together. So you can mix a primary color with a secondary color to get a tertiary or intermediate color. So, tertiary or intermediate colors, this is what a completed color wheel looks like. Yours will look like this in a little bit. Okay, so if I mix a primary color with a if I mix a primary color with a secondary color in my magic color mixing bowl, I'm going to get a tertiary or intermediate color. So if I mix blue and green, blue is being my primary, green is being my secondary, I'll get blue-green. Now I'm going to mix blue and violet, blue being my primary, violet being my secondary, mix them together, and I get blue-violet. Now I'm going to mix red and violet together, red being primary, violet being secondary. I'm going to get red-violet. Next, I'm going to mix red and orange together, red being primary, orange being secondary, and then I get red-orange. Next, I'm going to mix yellow and orange, yellow being primary, orange being secondary. I get yellow-orange. Yellow being my primary, green being my secondary, mix them together, and then I get yellow-green. So this just shows you on the gradient again, if you look at the middle, these are our secondary, or I'm sorry, these are our tertiary or intermediate colors. So color schemes are sets of colors that specifically chosen from the color wheel to create certain effects in pieces of art. So some of those color schemes are primary, secondary, those two we talked about. Some things that you haven't heard are complementary, neutral, analogous, warm, cool, and monochromatic, which we'll all talk about those in a second. So let's move myself back over here again. The primary colors are red, yellow, blue. Like we talked about, if you mix them together, you get secondary colors. Analogous color schemes are made up of colors that sit next to each other on the color wheel. These colors flow well together because they are closely related, sharing at least one color in common with another. Analogous colors are pleasant and harmonious. So if you look at this picture right here, it is using this part of the color wheel as its analogous colors. Green, blue-green, blue, blue-violet, and violet. I'd almost say it also is using this part of the color wheel for analogous colors as well. Blue, violet, 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 red, and red. I can see some reds and violet reds up here. I also see some blues and blue violets in here. Complementary colors. Complementary colors sit across from each other on the color wheel. They are considered opposites and create a lot of contrast when they are placed next to each other. That means they look bright and very sharp. So, red's primary color sits right across from it, and that's green. Orange's primary color sits across from it, and that is blue. Yellow's primary color sits across from it, and that is violet. So here are some examples of some sports teams that have complementary colors. So LSU, they have violet and yellow. University of Auburn, or Auburn University, has orange and blue. And Mexico, they have these red and green colors on their flag. So those are examples of complementary colors. Now, warm colors are hues such as red, orange, and yellow, and colors are vivid and energetic and tend to advance in space. That means come forward. So if you look at this painting by Georgia O'Keeffe, she painted the inside of a flower. She used mostly all warm colors. Kind of looks like fire to me. So that's how I remember this, warm color scheme. Cool colors are hues of purple, blues, and greens, and all the colors in between. Cool colors are very laid back, calm, and appear to recede in space or go back. This is a painting of a flower. If you can kind of see, it kind of looks like it's going back into the painting, and it's using all the cool colors, your blues, purples, and greens. Monochromatic simply just means one color. Monochromatic scheme is made up of tints and shades of and variations of the same hue. So when I say tint, that means adding white to that color. Shade means adding black to that color. And a fun way to remember that is when you go and sit in the shade under a tree, it's darker. You're getting away from the light or the sun, so it's darker. So when you think of shade, think of darker. When you think of tint, think of lighter. So this painting is all green, using all different tints and shades of green. So here's green. This part of the painting is also green, but it's a different hue, or it's a different shade of green because it's darker than, let's say, this shade of green. Neutral colors don't appear on the color wheel. They are black, white, gray, and sometimes brown. These colors are very muted and earthy, and they're not bright and exciting. So this painting by Pablo Picasso uses a lot of neutral colors: browns, blacks, grays, and whites. So here are all the color schemes again. Expressive color isn't always used. Color is not always used realistically in artworks. Sometimes the artists use it symbolically to get an idea across or a mood across. So what mood or feeling do you think Pablo Picasso was trying to convey using this much blue in this painting? So you can pause the video and think about why he was using all this blue color, okay? Do you think famous painter Franz Marc thought horses were really blue, or was he trying to tell us something else? So pause the video, think about maybe why these horses might have been painted blue. Colors can have more than one meaning. So when deciding what the artist or designer was intending for it to imply, you should always look for more context clues. So a wet caution floor sign is yellow, and so is a smiley face and emoji. Is this sign supposed to imply that happiness at the idea of slipping and falling? Probably not. Yellow is a bright color that stands out, so maybe that's what the intention was with the caution sign. Here are some colors and their meaning. So you can pause the video if you want to read each color and what each color can symbolize. And that is the end of the slideshow. You guys are going to get started on your project today. You are going to be making your very own color wheel. It's going to look just like this one that I have filled out in your sketchbook. You guys are going to watch the step-by-step video on how to do this, and I hope you guys enjoy it and have fun. Bye, guys. See you again soon.